Welcome back, everybody, to the Attract and Stand Out podcast. I'm your host, Darlene Holly, and I am so excited to talk some fitness with you guys today because I have Lisa Peranzo on here with me today. She has 10 years of experience in the fitness industry. She's worked with a diverse population, including first responders, athletes, and adolescents. And her experience in the fitness industry includes working with clients to rehab from a variety of injuries, from spinal cord, I can't even talk, spinal cord injuries, brain injuries, recovering from childbirth, sport-related injuries, as well as joint replacement. And her focus is always to help her clients find their own strengths and power from their fitness routine. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you so much for having me. When you said that you're like, I'll talk, I'll talk. I say that at least like once a class.
Yeah. No,
And
I'm like infamous for stumbling over my words.
oh yeah, because that's a sign of intelligence. Your brain is thinking faster than your mouth can move. Oh yeah, girl. And I mentor new instructors and they'll be like, but I'm gonna mess up my words. And I'm like, once every class. I've been doing this for over 10 years, still happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
We all trip over our words. We get tongue-tied, but my brain definitely goes way faster than my mouth can speak. And sometimes I'm like, wait, what am I talking about? Like, I don't even know where I was going with this conversation.
Yeah. And then you toss in there being a mom.
Oh, yeah.
It's all gone.
Yeah, I had 4 kids, so I'm pretty sure each of them stole half of my brain cells. So I'm not sure what
Yeah,
I.
that makes sense. I have one girl, she is the equivalent energy-wise of 3 kids, I figure. Yeah, my brain is mushy. I told I have a really good girlfriend who's pregnant right now, and I was like, "Don't worry, you're gonna have that baby, and you'll be speaking in mid-sentence, be like, I don't know what I was talking about."
Yeah, it's so funny, and it's so true. Like I joke with some of my girlfriends about it all the time. We're like, I had more brain cells at one point, but I don't know where they've all gone.
I think it's also like the constant interrupting of the small human. Like you're talking to your friend, and the what would be a 5 minute conversational flow turns into 30 because you get interrupted 6 times.
Absolutely.
Mommy, mommy.
And like we were talking about before we hit record today, like we both are in California. We're both virtually schooling our children, running businesses, doing all the things. So like sometimes we just have a lot on our plate and we have to give ourselves some grace. And
Oh yeah.
it's just the reality of our world right now, right? Like with COVID
Right.
and so many things going on, like we have to figure out like how to have the ebbs and flow in our day and not have any expectation of anything going quite the way we had planned it to, because let's be honest, um, 2020 and 2021, it looks like we're just kind of going with the flow and seeing what's happening.
But what a wonderful gift, because when we were talking before and talking about like the ability to increase our humanity and how we've seen people be so kind and considerate to one another and all those things, like what a wonderful gift to, okay, social distance learning, whatever the technical name is, I feel like is a special kind of hell for me personally. But
Yeah.
what a gift of learning how to be patient and adaptive and flexible and resilient, all those things, you know?
Yeah, there's so many blessings that I think have come out of COVID, even though there's so much negative and like we're
Mhm.
losing lives and people are not able to be with their loved ones.
For sure.
But the quality time that we're able to spend with our families now and not have to take our kids to sporting events all the time. And like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people had a very busy lifestyle, like they were constantly on the go. And this has kind of hit a pause button for so many people and been able to take that step back and
Very
go
true.
inward.
Very true. I mean, for me, I was never one of these people who was like, oh, I just need like 2 weeks at home or like that kind of. I love my home. I'll be at my home all the time. That hasn't changed. So I'm very lucky in that regard. But you know what? I really noticed that kind of being able to take a step back in December and the holidays and stuff, because typically the holidays, like from Thanksgiving through New Year's, those 5, 6 weeks, whatever it is, are so busy. We have something going on every single weekend, multiple times during the week as well. And none of that stuff happened this year. And as much as I missed a lot of it, it was kind of nice to just like be home and get to focus on being together and all the things of the holiday season that are important to us as a family.
Yeah.
Like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's so nice. It is nice to just slow down and have a simpler lifestyle. I'm like, I feel like I'm such a minimalist these days because of, I don't need a lot. I don't have like the need to go out and get things. Like
Right.
I'm more than content curling up on the couch on a Friday night and watching a movie with the kids and relaxing.
That's been our go-to Friday night for almost 2 solid years.
Nice. Yeah.
We have Friday night pizza and a movie night. We're supposed to switch who gets to pick the movie. You know that doesn't happen. You're a mom. It's like the one kid picks
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. I don't
But
have to watch what I want until everybody's asleep in the house. But yeah, let's kind of dive into our conversation today about your business because I'm super curious.
oh,
I love stories. I love to hear how entrepreneurs start their business and get everything in place and like what your dreams were and how it came to fruition. So I would love to hear some of your backstory, Lisa. Tell us a little bit about like your journey into starting your own fitness business.
and I don't know. Abigail is the one who connected us. So shout out to Abigail when she listens to this. I don't know how much she filled you in on my backstory. So like I can do the deep dive. I've always been fitness oriented. I've never been into organizational sports. And I actually enlisted in the military right after September 11th when I was getting ready to graduate high school. And kind of long story short, I ended up going the ROTC route. So for your listeners who don't know what that is, it's pretty much a deferred enlistment that puts you in as an officer. So you go to college first and then you go into the military after you get your degree. And when I was in ROTC, I shattered, fractured, and dislocated my right foot, and I didn't walk for about a year.
Wow.
Yeah, and that really was what propelled me into fitness. I was really, really lucky that in the course of multiple surgeries and a boatload of physical therapy and rehab and all the things that I went through, I had a great deal of support. And that support's focus for me was, what do you want the quality of life of your life to be when this is done? You know, when we got kind of out of like crisis management mode, because there was a period of time where I didn't know if I'd be able to walk again. When we got past that and we knew that I would be okay and I would be able to like resume normal life as it were, it was, what do you want that life to look like? How do you want that to be? What do you want your pain levels to be at? Like, how do you want the functionality of your life to be? And that really propelled me into fitness in the most roundabout way ever, because I worked to try to be able to go into the military. That was not going to be something that happened. My injury was too significant for me to be able to continue, unfortunately. So I graduated with my degree and I went into corporate America. And fitness was always like the side thing that I did. And I understand now, like looking back on it, fitness started for me like as a means of me showing myself that I was still strong in the face of all this adversity that had presented itself to me, and that I was still capable and I could still do the thing. And I was 19 when I got hurt. Like I was a baby.
Yeah, you're so young. Absolutely.
It was really, I was not legally able to drink. I was very, very young when I got hurt. And I had my whole life ahead of me. And I wanted to show myself that I could still, you know, be strong and like do things, and that this wasn't going to define me as a person. So that kind of led into this curiosity about, you know, why do people work out? Why do they move the way that they do? Why do they choose to do the things that they do? You know, how does the human body as a whole function? How can we make it function in a more effective manner? And, you know, I was doing the corporate America thing and doing the fitness thing and getting my certifications in fitness. And then eventually it just got to the point where fitness became more of a passion than what I was doing in corporate America. And and the work that I was doing at the time in corporate America was extremely valid. I was working with victims of violence. And now, even looking back on that, I know that it was from a place of helping people empower themselves. There was nothing, and still like nothing, that I loved more than seeing a person come out of the most devastating experience of their life and completely turn it around. Yeah. And fitness for me offers a lot of the same empowerment. So I left corporate America, with no job lined up. It was just like, I'm done. I just can't anymore. I tell my clients like I manifested my best life wearing yoga pants, and I really truly did. And I just jumped in both feet first, and I started training. I left corporate America in 2007. Holy moly, that was a long time ago. Now I'm like, we're in 2021. That's like 14 years ago. Holy crap.
I started my business as a business coach in 2007 as well. So it must have been a lucky year for both of us.
Yeah. Um, and I think that's where the journey of me being an entrepreneur began, because I was training out of a brick and mortar, but I would always tell people when I would mentor new instructors and train new instructors, you are constantly auditioning for your job. Like there will be a person that you resonate with. Your style, what you say, everything about you resonates with them. And you have to give them the motivation to come back every time. And it has to feel innate and authentic and genuine to you and who you are. Yeah. And I just kind of took it and I rolled with it from there. And then, fast forward a few years and I had my daughter, and everything for me shifted. And then it became a matter of, how do I find fitness, find health in a way that works the best for this new chaos of life? How do I continue to take care of myself? How do I continue to show myself that, I'm worthy of these things and that what I want still matters, even while juggling all these other things? And, again, it was like going back to the injury and making sure that I had the quality of life that I wanted, and knowing that now it took an even bigger priority because I had an additional person that I was taking care of who was literally and truly helpless. I mean, she'll tell you that she can do it all herself now, but she's 6 now, so, and probably she could. Yeah. But yeah, I'm like, you have 4 kids, you totally know. So it became this matter of how do I continue to make sure that I can be the best for my family, for my tribe, for my community? And then it became, how do I teach more people what I've taught myself? So I launched online, which was like crazy at the time. People were like, I'm not sure about this. I had a lot of people tell me like, I wouldn't buy anything off the internet. And I was like, well, Amazon's a thing. So you're wrong, but okay. And I took that same thing to heart. Like, even if what I say hits one person and they're like, okay, I'm gonna do something for me today, and they go for a walk, I feel like I've won. Yeah. So I mean, that's like the very, very shortened version of where we're at now. But my whole purpose in all of this goes back to that empowerment piece, and being able to show people that having a fitness routine, having a healthy lifestyle doesn't mean that you need to feel deprived. It doesn't mean that you need to feel like you've sacrificed certain areas of your life. Like, this is a completely attainable thing. You just have to figure out how to make it work for you.
Yeah. And I can imagine with the work that you do, a lot of people, I know a lot of people who don't exercise at all, or I know some people who exercise every single day and they're like, totally on it, right? Like they enjoy doing it. They have their routine and their rhythm with it and they love it. But when somebody doesn't have that routine going, or they're not the type of person who does a really good job at like the consistency piece to it, what are some of like the top tips that you share with your clients for getting them just to get started and get their body moving?
A lot of the times when people are struggling getting started, what I have found, and I think that my formal education, so I have a bachelor's in psychology and I have a master's in human behavior. So what I have found, and the formal education being helpful, is that the excuses that are in the way are there because they think that they're going to fail. And that thinking of, I'm not going to be able to do this, is because the expectation is absolutely huge. So it doesn't mean that that expectation is wrong or that that goal is wrong, but we get so caught up in achieving that goal that we're not looking at the incremental steps it's going to take to get there, nor are we celebrating every time we hit one of those incremental steps.
Yeah.
Adulting is hard, man. Things are super, super critical of us. Like we're not getting participant medals anymore. We got to celebrate that stuff for ourselves. And I'm a huge proponent of that. So when somebody's saying, okay, I'm going to get off my couch today. I'm going to do 2021. I've set goals for myself. Oh, the New Year's resolutions, people, for instance.
Everybody has a fitness New Year's resolution, at least for like 2 days at the beginning of the year, right?
Right. And I'm not here for the New Year's resolution because of that.
Yeah.
Why do you need to wait for some date in the calendar to start? And that's the biggest thing that I tell people. There's never going to be a right time. There's never going to be a right circumstance. If this is something that you want, then you need to start. And that doesn't mean that you're like, I'm going to go compete in a bikini competition. No, maybe that literally just means that you start doing a 10-minute workout 3 days a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Or take your kids or your dog for a walk in the evenings after dinner. Like something just to get your body moving. Because I know for me, when I'm working out, which luckily I've been in a really good routine with that for a while now. But when I fall off that routine, like when I'm not consistent with it and it's not part of like my all the time, like especially if I get sick or something, like then it's like so hard to go back to it, right? Like because you just get out of the rhythm and you're not as focused on it. But I feel the best when I do have it as part of my routine. My body feels better. I eat healthier because I'm taking care of my body. My joints are more limber. Like my brain is even more, what's the right word? Like it's just clearer, and I feel like I can accomplish more in a day than like days where I don't work out and I don't have that drive or initiative. It's almost like it kickstarts you.
Right.
And I have to work out in the mornings. Like if I don't do it in the morning, it's really hard for me to do later in the afternoon, unless it's like a walk around the block with the kids, like those types of activities. But like to like put on a yoga video or do some weightlifting or something, like I do way better first thing in the morning. But I know a lot of people struggle with like that consistency to it and finding like the drive for it.
Yeah. And that's a hard thing because, you can't magically create more hours within your day.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, sometimes if we could, but like girls got to sleep too.
Yeah. And this girl loves her sleep. So I need 7 to 8 hours. Like I need it. Like I don't function well. I wish I was one of those people who could do like 4 hours and like, I'm like, Mama needs sleep.
Mama needs sleep. You don't want to see me on any less than 7 hours of sleep. It's not cute. At all. I'm like, this is not a good look. But even then it becomes a matter of like, how do you take what you're calling a routine and turning it into a lifestyle?
Yeah.
Because then you know that you have the tools in place that when life throws things at you, which it inevitably will, like we're busy and also we have bills to pay and we have kids to take care of and a house to manage and dogs and like all the things.
Yeah.
So how do you keep going with that? One of the biggest things that I encourage my clients to do is to sit down once a week and plan into their day when they're going to work out. Like mark it in your calendar like it is an appointment at your doctor's. Lock out the time.
You are so speaking my love language right now. I teach that to my clients. I have to do it for myself. I'm like every Friday I sit down at the end of my workday and I map out my next week. I want to know when I have appointments with clients, when I have doctor's appointments, when the kids have an activity, like all the big rocks get put in. And then after that, that's when I go back through and I put my marketing time into my schedule. Or if I need to work on an upcoming project or something, like I map all that out so that when I wake up on Monday morning, I open up my day and I'm like, oh, now I know what my day looks like. Like this is what I have to accomplish today. And
so then your workout needs to be one of your rocks.
Yeah. It's my 8 a.m. rock.
Exactly. You're like, this is what I'm doing. So even if it's, 8 a.m. and it's 4 days a week, like I'll take that over, I'm going to wing it. Like I tell my clients all the time, if you're winging it, you're not going to get the results that you want. And results for me don't necessarily mean numbers changing on a scale. Like you were saying earlier, there's non-scalable victories that for me matter just as much, if not even more, than what you would see on a scale. I encourage a lot of my clients to throw a scale out, but that's probably a podcast for another time. But, you know, eating better, sleeping better, having more energy, more alertness, clarity of thought, being more patient with your kids. Those are all things that are non-scalable victories that help you adult and show up for everybody in your life in a bigger and better way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I encourage people, block the time out in your calendar. So like, you're a morning worker outer, so am I. It's the easiest time for me to factor it in. Not everybody is that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, job dependent, kid dependent, whatever the reason, sometimes lunchtime workouts work out more, or something right at the end of the day works out better, or they're just flat not a morning person. Also fair. I would not encourage those people to schedule an 8 a.m. workout then, because it's not going to happen. They're not going to be successful as a result. I would encourage them to schedule the workout for the time that it's going to work the best. And then even what I would encourage, like for my morning working out people, is to schedule a backup time as well. So that if something happens, you know, if you're getting your kids ready for distance learning and a fire starts, or literally or figuratively, let's hope literally, you can address it and know, even if that workout time got cut into or disappeared completely, you have a backup time set up. And then I make them go even a step further and plan what they're going to do and have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Because what you don't want to have is, oh, I have 30 minutes to work out, and then you spend 20 of it scrolling the gram trying to figure out what you're going to do. You've wasted your own time.
And people are so quick to scroll social media, and it becomes a filling task that doesn't do anything for us, but we're like, oh, it's been an hour. There went my time to work out. I'm not doing it now.
I tell clients all the time, if you can waste 3 hours on TikTok, you have time to work out. Yeah. I mean, I'm guilty of it as well. Not TikTok. I refuse to get a TikTok. I get sucked into the black hole of TikTok. So that's like a hard barrier for me. But the little cute dog videos on Instagram, I can get sucked into those, and then 15 minutes go by and I'm like, what in the heck just happened? There's one lately, I die. Every time I get the video, I'm like passing it to people. It helps nothing for them, but it's funny for me. But if you have time to do that, you have time to work out.
Yeah.
But you have to be intentional with it.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say then, like, since you started this journey and started this business, what has been one of the things that you've had to overcome as a business owner, like starting your own practice and going out there and doing this on your own? What has been like the biggest obstacles that have gotten in your way?
There's been so many. I literally had no idea what I was doing. I started A Healthful Life as a blog because my clients were like, man, you tell stories about your kid and you're so funny, and like, we need that levity when it comes to parenting. Like, you should write that down. If nothing else, like, she'll get a kick out of it when she's older, and you know you're going to forget it in the next 5 minutes. So that was how I started. I had absolutely no idea how to monetize a business. I had no idea how to market. I had no idea how to build a social media following. And it's really hard when you start building in those spaces to be able to discern when people are coming at you like, oh, I want to help you, who's kind of full of it and who's not. And the biggest thing that I did for myself was I got myself a coach who helped me narrow down what I wanted to do and where my focus was and what I could do, you know, for the 3 to 5 year plan and then the 5 to 10 year plan, and what I needed to hire out and what I needed to keep for myself.
Yeah.
And you know, that was not an overnight process. That took a hot minute to kind of get those things under control. And it also took a hot minute for me to learn what about like the back office side of a business I really liked doing and what I really disliked doing and what I was willing to hire out to other people and like relinquish control of.
And those are like the two things that most most of my clients, and I talk about a lot, like you need a coach, you need somebody who's there to be a cheerleader, to support them, to guide, to like help direct, to give ideas, to ask really tough questions so that you can dig deep and get to like the root of what's coming up for you. Because as
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs, we can have all kinds of stories in our head. We can have all kinds of mindset blocks. And like you had
Mm-hmm.
shared, like you didn't know how to do social media, you didn't know how to do the marketing piece. Like we don't, like you're really good at your trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
you only know what you know. Like if you don't know how to run a business, like no one teaches that stuff in high school or in college, even for that fact. Even the classes that you go to, it doesn't really give you that hands-on real life opportunity to learn. So
Right.
having a coach is huge, which obviously as a business coach, like I totally advocate that.
Oh yeah.
Everybody needs a coach. I have a coach. Like it's so important to make sure you have somebody who's
Mm-hmm.
there for you, that bounces ideas off of, that brainstorms with you, that kind of calls you on your BS sometimes too, right? Like we're
Oh yeah.
all good at that. I know I need myself called out occasionally.
And I think one of the biggest things for me too was, stepping into the online space, being able to show up on video and be comfortable showing up on video as myself. And I actually had this as like a huge realization one day. Mike, I love my coach. She's beyond amazing. She is like exactly what I need. And she messaged me. I'll tell you what she messaged me in a second. But I was thinking to myself, like, I get told all the time when I train in person that I'm so motivating. And I literally don't remember what I say when I train because I go to this extremely internal place that when the I write my all my own workouts and I do them all on myself. So I know how my client is feeling. I know when it's going to get hard for them and I know when they're going to have to like really dig down deep and push through the rest of it.
Yeah.
Right? And when they would get to that point, the words coming out of my mouth would be the things that I was telling myself when I was practicing the workout on myself. And those things would be in accompaniment with like very active visualizations of me when I was hurt, not knowing whether or not I'd be able to walk again, having literally every single aspect in my life change in the matter of seconds, going from being, able to do anything and everything. I got hurt fast roping. Like, that's insane that I was so comfortable rappelling that I would rappel face first off of a 30-foot tower and be totally okay with it. Now I'm terrified of heights. It's fine. But I had clients ask me, like, how do you come up with all this motivating stuff? And I would tell them, I would picture what was going through my head when I was hurt. And then that's the stuff that I tell you. But I had a really hard time translating that into the online space. I felt like, oh, I need to show up in a certain way. I need to look a certain way. I need to talk a certain way so that I can appeal to more people. And it like wasn't happening. You're like, I know exactly what you're talking about. And it was holding me back. And I had this realization one day of like, if I'm showing up for my in-person clients like this, I just need to treat everybody like they're an in-person client, even the faces that I don't see. And I just went for it. And my coach messaged me because she stalks my social media because she's a good coach like that. And she said, I see you've entered the 0 F's given zone. Congratulations. Wait for your business to blow up. And then it did.
Yeah.
She was like the clients that, because fitness is so saturated, it really is, but I truly do believe that I have a place in it to help as many people as I can. She was like, as soon as you step into that zone, your client is going to find you.
Yeah. And that's what I teach a lot in my business too. Like you're a personal brand. Like people are they're going to relate to you, your skill set, your experiences, your stories, the things you talk about,
Mhm.
your energy, like how you show up. That's what they're here for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your industry might be oversaturated, but that's how you stand out. That's how you attract your ideal clients and pull them into you, is you're going to be magnetic to the right people because they want to hear your story. They want to hear what you've gone through, how you've gotten there, and like your
Right.
story of how you got hurt and how it even like propelled you into this business. Like they can relate to that. It might look totally different. Their story might be completely different, but they can connect at that level. Like, I've been there before. Maybe they didn't break something, but they felt broken, or they felt hurt or lost or confused or uncertain. And that's why they come to you. And I love that you talk about that, because I think so many people struggle, especially when they take their business from in-person to online. You don't, like, we think we have to almost show up different. And that's so not true. Like, I'm always telling my clients, like, when you meet me in person, which hopefully one day we can all meet again in person, like, if like we actually don't know each other than through the online space, right? When we meet in person, I want you to feel like you know me, and I want to know you. Like, I don't want to like get together and all of a sudden go, wow, this is really awkward. Like, you acted this way when we were online and you're totally not that way in person. Like, there should not be, like, you might be taller or shorter, but other than that, like, and you might have a bottom half. I don't even know. Like, we only see from like our waist up anymore, right? Nobody knows what we're wearing on the bottom or what we look like. But that's the only surprise there should be. Like, you need to show up exactly how you would in that in-person class as you did on video. And I'm so glad that you like went through that process and that you got there, because that, you're right. That's the secret to the sauce. That's when you're going to really stand out, and people are going to attract to you, because they're going to be like, oh, like you don't have to be anything else. Like, why would you try to be something else on video versus in person?
And in that regard, one of the best pieces of feedback that I got was from a client who was telling me, well, she said, I've never viewed myself as athletic until I took your class. And she said, it's because when you're giving us stuff to do, you're giving us options so that we can meet our body. Like, what she was saying is so that she can meet her body where it was at, and then discover her strength by pushing herself from there. Whereas before, she always felt defeated because, fitness as a whole seemed very cookie cutter for her. The things that she tried, it was like she felt she was being shoved into a box, and what she really wanted was more of a tailored experience for her body and where she was at. And she wanted option, like, she wanted options. We all want options. She wanted to know that if she came in after a really hard day at work, that it wasn't going to be some like insane workout that left her feeling super defeated, that she could take the option that worked for her so she could walk out feeling more energized. And that also comes from the injury. I think where the fitness industry for me is not so saturated is because I have serious injuries that I have to work around. I don't have a choice. There's a lot that is contraindicated for my body. And it is not worth it for me to put my body physically at risk because I have too much going on and can't afford to lay in bed for 4 days. And also, if I could, I would be at a hotel with room service. Okay? Let's be honest.
And it's okay to know that you can take modifications or switch things up or change it, whether it's in a fitness business or no matter what your business is.
Exactly.
Like we play to our strengths, right?
Right.
Every way that we show up in life. So like, take modifications, do things your way. Just because you do something one way doesn't mean I have to do it that way. Like, especially if we, like in the fitness, like when I'm working out, I for sure modify. Like, sometimes I'm like, there's no way in hell I can do that. I do it my way, and I do it my style, and I still get a good workout. Exactly. But it doesn't necessarily always look exactly like it does from the facilitator, right?
And then it's a matter of letting your ego go and going, it's okay. Yeah. And for me in business, that was stepping away from the comparison game. Yeah. And not comparing myself to another fitness coach online, even down to like, for a long time, I would not even look at another fitness coach's posts or stories. So I didn't want that little negative voice in my head. So I've continued to follow. If the post popped up, I would like it. I'd continue to show that support, but I had to step away from all that other stuff and say, okay, this is going to be completely mine, which also included for me, like, for instance, not posting pictures of myself working out in like just a sports bra and some like booty shorts, because that's not my style.
Yeah.
It doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't make me feel good. I mean, could I do it? Yeah, for sure. I get paid to work out. Like, I know what I look like in just a sports bra. That's not the issue. It didn't feel authentic to me.
Yes.
It didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And I know now for my business, doing something that doesn't feel good has immediate negative impact.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, you were so right. Like that. And that's why, like, I teach my clients, like, if you're going to market your business and you're going to show up, like, find strategies and ways that feel good to you, that are authentic to you, that make you excited to get out of bed in the morning to do. If it's like pulling your teeth, like you don't want to do it, or if you're procrastinating the crap out of it and it's like the last thing you do and you don't even want to do it and you do it and you're grumpy and mad about it, it's probably because you're doing a strategy that you're not supposed to be doing. Like, if you love to do videos and to like talk, like use your voice to share stories and stuff, and you're only writing or like showing up in ways where you don't get a chance to do that, like, look at the situation. Like, I have one client who recently was complaining. She's like, I keep showing up on social media, and that was one of like the main ways that she originally was marketing her business, was on social media. So she was going in, typing messages to people, like building relationships that way, and it was working to a degree, but it wasn't getting her a ton of clients. And after working with her for a little while, like, I uncovered that she loves to talk. Like, she loves to talk. So I was like, let's look at your marketing strategies. Like, you're not doing a lot of talking. You're not really showing up and sharing your voice. So we switched her marketing strategy. She started creating some YouTube videos. She started being interviewed on podcasts. She started using her voice and talking in audible and video type ways. And her business has exploded because she was not doing the right types of strategies for her. Those strategies work great for some people if that's their strength. But so often we follow somebody else who does work that we do, and we're like, oh, well, they're doing blogs, or they're doing videos, or they're doing this. And we're like, well, I have to do that then. And then we try to do it, and then we don't succeed at it. And we're like, well, why does she get 5 million likes and I got 2? Like, and then we put ourselves down, and we, like you were saying, like, we compare ourselves to those people. But that's because she was playing, or he, to their strength, and you're not playing to yours. So like, you have to really dig deep and uncover, like, how do I really want to show up? Like, find 5 to 10 marketing strategies that you love, that light you up, and do those. Don't do the other ones. If you hate to talk, then don't do a video. Or if you hate video, don't do the video. Or if you, I don't know, like, if you don't like audio, don't do audio. Like, find what works for you. Like, I think everybody should do video nowadays, because that's the way. So if you don't love video, I'm going to encourage you to like start playing with it. But like,
well,
I mean, like, anybody who's listening, because I know you're doing video.
But I would say with it, because I struggled on the video, I'm very used to public speaking. That was not a problem. And when I worked with victims of violence, one of my jobs was to go into military commands of like 500 people and brief the sailors, because this was a Navy command, like Navy stuff. I had to brief the sailors about domestic violence. So it wasn't a public speaking issue. It was a literally having the camera pointed at me issue. And then it just became a like, I just don't care anymore. I care. Okay, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to show up without makeup. My hair is going to look crazy. My kitchen is not going to be clean. But this is a reality of my life right now. I'm a very busy parent. And so are all my clients. So they know exactly what that's. I think there's actually a few videos too of me having to have my hand on my dog because he kept barking unless I was touching him. Like, these are things
in your surroundings.
Right? I work with what's in my surroundings. So that's what I would encourage people to do. Like, if makeup's not your thing, why are you wearing makeup in video?
Yeah.
Show up as you. If something crazy happens in your day with your kids or whatever, there's like 6 other moms that can relate to exactly what you're going through.
Yeah, absolutely.
And appreciate the story.
Yeah, it's so true. And we judge ourselves so much because we're like, we're not perfectly put together, and we want, like, so many, not everybody, but a lot of people are perfectionists, and they want it to be done exactly the way they envision it in their head. And when it doesn't, they like want to redo it and do it again, and they want to try it again, or they can't do it today because their hair's not ready. Like, those are the things that, it's vanity matrix in all reality. And that's not what people are here for. Like, people are here to learn from you and share, or learn like your expertise, and like figure out how to take care of themselves better, like with your industry.
Exactly.
Like, they don't, I mean, they don't care what you look like if you're going to be the one that helps them and gets them where they're going.
Oh yeah. I mean, a really great example of that was, when COVID hit and the brick and mortar I was working out of shut down, we're still shut down. Um, you know, I let my clients kind of like be in their feelings for a couple weeks. And then I texted them and was like, I don't know how this is going to go. It could be a total cluster, but do you want to start doing Zoom workouts? And I'll give you the live workout. And that's what we started doing. I have to go back and see, because I'm actually kind of curious myself as to when we started. I want to say it was maybe like the beginning of April that we started doing this. And we've been consistent 3 days a week. My husband with that was like, oh, you're doing it out of the garage, and like, ew, the garage, and it looks so gross. And I'm like, they don't care. They don't care that the deep freezer is behind me and all my workout stuff is right here. They don't care.
No.
Because when you're in the middle of a Tabata set doing kettlebell swings, you're not looking at the deep freezer.
Nope.
You're not even thinking about it. But they are thinking about the words coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And they come in for the funny stories, because I am told that when I train, I'm kind of funny. I don't know. Again, don't really remember what I say. They don't care about any of that.
No.
They care about the quality of the workout.
They're there for you and for themselves to move forward and get.
I mean, they might be curious about what's in the deep freezer. That's fine. But still, they're there for the workout. They're there to take care of themselves. That ends up mattering more. And also, their garage looks the same as mine.
Yeah, exactly. And done is better than perfect. If we wait to do something until it's perfect, it'll honestly probably never get done in most cases. So,
and what a fair point, well made, because if I lived by that, I wouldn't have been able to help as many people as I have during this whole pandemic thing, with gyms shut down, people not knowing how they're supposed to work out at home, when I'm sitting here like, well, I'm the queen of working out at home. This is what I do.
Yeah.
Because it's the only way I can make it work with the family.
Yeah. And you can't hide that expertise. Like, this was your time to come out and shine in the online space, because the world was ready for us to move that direction.
I guess.
Whether we thought so or not, like, COVID was like, oh, you guys are a little too comfortable. We're going to make everything be virtual. Let's see if we can make it work. Like,
yeah, let's shift all of this.
Like, look at the public school systems, though. Like, they never in a million years thought they could virtually school children. They're doing it. Whether they love that they're doing it, or if our children love doing it, that's a whole different conversation for another day. But it's showing that people can work from home, and they can be trusted to work from home and still get their work done. And it's showing like so many industries are able to make these pivots and help families who sometimes need that little bit more flexibility, because they can do stuff from home. And
you know what? I love that. And it goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning about being flexible and adaptive and resilient and all these things, because my clients, the feedback I've gotten on those classes is they're liking it more. They don't have to factor in commute time. The commute time is walking into their living room or whatever. And while they were skeptical at first, I had one client, she's lost like 25 pounds since this whole thing started. And they've learned how to do more virtually, because I can bring in more virtually. I didn't get all these certifications to keep them to myself.
Yeah.
They've learned how to do more than I think they ever thought was possible of them. I knew it was possible and that they could go there. They had to get there. Yeah. And they're learning how to do it from a screen. Yeah. Like, that is an absolutely amazing, amazing thing.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're able to push people to a whole new level, even though it's in a virtual space and you're not face to face with them. Like, you're pushing them forward and propelling them into taking better care of themselves, and losing, like,
think about the different
pounds is no
small feat, right? But think about the different kind of accountability it takes to show up on a screen in that kind of capacity. If you're going and you're training at a gym, there's a different kind of incentive there. You can thrive off the energy that's in that space. If you're signing up for a class, there might be a late cancel or no-show fee. You're usually paying like a gym membership. the habitual aspects of going to that and showing up with your computer is a whole different kind of ball game.
Yeah.
It's a whole different kind of accountability.
I have a question for you. You're making me super curious about it, and then we'll probably start wrapping things up. But do you think that when COVID goes away, that a lot of people will go back to the gyms, or do you think that like your business will have shifted completely and stay more on the online?
I think gyms will still have a place for sure. I don't know how big of a place they will have. I don't think that like the gym industry will be gone.
No, of course not.
But a lot of, I don't know that it will ever get back to, I picture like the LA Fitness, the 24-hour fitnesses that were like super packed in like 2019. I don't know that it will get to that place again. Yeah. I think people are really discovering that they can do this from their house. Yeah. And that they have found other ways of being active that they like doing.
And like you had said a few minutes ago too, like you cut the commute time, which is huge for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I know when I lived in Las Vegas, I commuted like almost 22 minutes to go to the gym that I went to. And I loved the gym. I loved going there. Once I got there, it was great. But sometimes like the thought of getting in my car and sitting in traffic for 22 minutes there and 22 back, like that was like my whole workout technically. Like, and I'd have to block 2 hours out to go to the gym. So if I can do that same thing by walking to my living room and turning on my app or connecting on Zoom at a scheduled time to work with my trainer, like that's huge. It saves so many. And like as moms and as women, a lot of times like we're super busy with like our families and what's going on. And we put ourselves last a lot of times. And that's changing. Like I know so many of us are working to make sure we put our oxygen mask on first and that we're that priority so we can take care of our family. But it can easily, like if you're tired and you have a lot going on, we easily can put ourselves last again. So I think it's a great way to have an online fitness business to help support your female women clients, even parents, men, like all of everybody, like all of us. But like we all need that extra support. And if we can do it in like the parameters of, a 30 to 45 minute time frame in our own house and cut away some of that, like it's huge. So I love the work that you're doing. And I love that you brought this, like you pivoted during a time when you could have decided just to stay home and like, well, shoot, now I can't meet with my clients. So I don't want to get COVID. I'm going to stay home. And you pivoted your business and you took it to this whole new level, which I love.
Well, and I was lucky because the infrastructure for a healthful life was already there and the private coaching component was already there. It was literally just shifting the training component.
Yeah. And you did a fabulous job.
Thank you.
Before we wrap up, I always love to ask my guests some fun rapid fire questions just because I want to know a little bit more. I'm a little bit curious about people and how they live their life. And I think my guests my clients love to hear it too. So what would you say is your morning routine?
I wake up. I have 2 different journals that I write in. One's a gratitude journal and then another personal one. And it's usually like a sentence or 2. If I have time, I meditate. And then it's going downstairs, rehydrating. So I do 32 ounces of lukewarm water with apple cider vinegar, pink Himalayan salt, and a squeeze of lemon every morning, which sounds crazy, but it actually helps give you energy. It helps to detoxify your body. It helps jumpstart your metabolism. I do that. And then normally after I take my vitamins, I am off and running, typically to a workout or getting my kid plugged into distance learning and then working out.
Awesome. I love that you do the apple cider vinegar. I don't add quite as much fun concoctions nor as much as you do, but apple cider vinegar, like anytime I'm feeling a little under the weather, or if I'm a little drained those days, like I'll just do like a shot with water and lemon in it and sometimes a little bit of honey.
Girl, I double dog dare you to try what I do for 30 days.
All right, we'll try it. I don't know, 32 ounces in the morning. That might be tough, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. It's not that hard. You get used to it.
What are you binging on TV these days? Like what's your favorite show?
Oh, I don't know that I have necessarily a favorite show. I just finished Bridgerton on Netflix. Holy moly. But then it brought up a lot of like
I heard today season 2.
questions about our society as a whole, but that's a podcast for another time. And then I just started the Selena miniseries on Netflix.
Awesome. Both great ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bridgerton, I just heard is season 2 is coming. I was super excited when I read that this morning.
I read that this morning too. I'm super excited.
I'm definitely in for it. Love it. Do you have a book on your nightstand? And if so, what is it?
What is the book on my nightstand right now? I have the 5 Love Languages of Children on my nightstand right now.
Awesome. And who would you say has made the biggest impact in your life?
Ooh, globally or locally? Mm-hmm.
Whatever comes to mind first.
My mom.
You know, someone you don't know?
My mom and my dad.
Mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. And what is your happy spot when you need to reset and recharge? What do you do? Where do you go?
The beach, specifically the beach in Coronado, California. And I can tell you like the exact spot. Y'all better not show up there. It's my quiet place. There's these tall condos in Coronado that have rocks out in front of them on the beach side. That's where I go.
That's your spot. I love it. Yeah. The beach is my happy spot, so I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Mine's Moonlight Beach.
Oh, I love that beach. I used to surf that beach all the time. I like it.
Great for the kids. The kids have a good time. I can relax. It's one of my favorites, so totally can relate. And then my last question for you, and I know that I can't do this, but if I gave you a plane ticket and you could go anywhere in the world today, where would you go and why?
I want to check out the Maldives just because that water looks amazing.
Yeah.
And I have a thing with wanting to stay on a hut on top of the water.
Oh my gosh, you are speaking my like retreat love language right now. Like I want to go to Belize because of that exact same reason. I'm like, I want to stay in a little tiki hut over the water and I want little fishies to be swimming down below me and it'll be amazing. So I'm totally there with you. We'll plan a trip. Lisa, this has been so fun. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your story with us. I know my listeners are going to be super curious how to connect with you. Where do you like to hang out on social media, your website? Where do you want people to go to find you?
Ooh, okay. So social media, easiest is Instagram. I'm the most active on there and my handle is my name. So at Lisa Peranzo. The link in the bio has a link to all the things, including a link to the website. And the website is www.ahealthfullife.org. And the website has, everything from the Amazon store to all my printables, recipes, blogs, application for coaching, and a link to my YouTube channel that if you subscribe, you can have all those workouts for free.
Amazing. That's awesome. And I know that you have a free gift for everybody who listens today as well.
Yes, because in like the 5-10 year plan, it is my goal to have my own podcast. So I'm appreciative to you for all the work you do and for your listeners to listen in on us, talk for the past however long. So there's a free gift in the show notes. It is a workout guide. This is when I'm going to get my trainer hat on. So it is ready to use as written from home. You can go for it from there. However, that's my dog, the little one, Big Bark. However, if you have questions about how to level up, so you want to add in weights, for instance, you're not sure what to do, or if you are working around an injury, coming back from childbirth, or you're not sure how to do an exercise, how to work an interval, these are not things to keep to yourself. You will not see results if you keep these things to yourself. Please reach out, ask me. The fastest way is to send me a DM on Instagram and tell me what your question is, and I will get back to you. Not anybody else, me. We'll answer you, walk you through it, change the workout if we need to. I'll do whatever we need to do for you to be able to accomplish what you're setting out to accomplish.
Amazing. You are so wonderful. Thank you for that amazing gift. I know a lot of people will flock right to it and want to connect with you and get the support, because I think fitness is one of those things you're either on it or you're not. And if you're doing it right now, you need the support. So thank you so much for being so gracious with your time and your gift as well.
Oh, thank you for having me. I had so much fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, that's another wrap for the Attract and Stand Out podcast. I will see you guys all next week. Have an amazing day. Bye.